More on Russia-Ukraine. We are joined by former advisor to the Minister of Strategic Industries of Ukraine, Yuriy, alongside Director of Communications for Ukrainian Congress Committee of America, Andriy Dobriansky. Great to have you both here. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, he's in Florida. We just got an update there from Andrew Kraft on that Ukrainian delegation. They're trying to get a deal done here. Do you anticipate that Yuri, that Ukraine will concede some of this land? That seems to be the big sticking point, is whether or not they're going to be able to concede the Donbass region.
Good morning, John. Our side have said it many times, and I think there is by now a general understanding that Ukraine is prepared to stop the hostilities along the existing front lines for now. I mean, of course, even when we do that, we will never recognize the legality of the illegally occupied territories. You know, the Russian aggression will not be legalized. But at the same time, for the purposes of this peace process, we are ready to stop the hostilities along the front lines. And it remains to be seen whether Russia will be able to do that as well.
Andriy, I mean, if Ukraine does make this deal here with the U.S., and then you've got Witkoff going over to meet with Putin, who's to say that Putin's going to take the deal?
Well, he's made it very clear he's not interested in it, especially if you look at what he's been doing in Ukraine. I believe there have been 66 ballistic missiles, 1,400 drones, and even more glide bombs just in this past week alone. At the same time as Donald Trump keeps saying that he wants to see peace, Ukraine put on the table nearly 300 days ago that they will give a full ceasefire for 30 days to allow negotiations to happen. So you're seeing right now in Florida the example of Ukrainians willing to work with Donald Trump whenever and wherever he asks them to meet and go forward with something. You're not seeing that from Russia. You haven't heard that, especially in the speech that President Putin did last week, where he mentioned that he's ready to kill every last Ukrainian.
Yuri, do you think that Putin will at least make a ceasefire agreement here? Is that the first stage of this? Will he, next week when he meets with the U.S., will he agree to that?
We are afraid that while Ukraine wants peace, Russia wants Ukraine. Right. And that means that they will literally be trying to drag their feet. They will be manipulating the peace process. They will most probably be trying to buy themselves more time so that they can produce more drones, more missiles, and launch them at peaceful Ukrainian cities. But having said that, we have to also understand that a lot will depend on the position of the United States of America as Ukraine's strategic partner. And the U.S., the White House, Donald Trump and his team, they have the leverage that they can deploy to actually force Russia to realize that for them it's an unwinnable war, that the losses are too high, and that they have to actually listen to the parties of this peace process, sit down and negotiate in good faith under the realistic circumstances.
I want to get your take on what's happening here with this corruption scandal. You have one of Zelensky's top aides stepping down amid this corruption scandal. What's your take on it?
Ukrainians are always disappointed when a high-level corruption scandal comes to light. But at the same time, everything that's been happening so far demonstrates that despite the war, Ukraine was able to put in place efficient anti-corruption bodies. And we have to also be very careful because, you know, for example, with regards to the top 8 whom you're referring to, there's no official indictment yet issued or any charges pressed. So it was just his home and office was raided, but we'll have to wait, you know, before there is some more detailed information. But by and large, this situation demonstrates that there is an efficient system of anti-corruption bodies, and when such scandals come to light, they are, you know, responded to adequately as they should be in a democratic country governed by the rule of law.
Yeah, Andriy, I'll ask you the same question. What was your take on that when you heard that news break?
Same thing, especially with the fact that a lot of these people who are being mentioned in these raids have not received an official indictment, and yet they are not in their official position. They have been relieved either through a resignation or been told that they are not currently in their position. Not just a resignation from Mr. Yermak, but a presidential order came out after the fact that he is no longer the head of the president's office, again, without an indictment. We have had U.S. senators received gold bars in this country, and they remain in office until the end of their actual court case is done. So I actually praise what Ukraine is doing during a war to prosecute even a hint of corruption, and having those people step down until the people are satisfied. And the last thing you'll see in Ukraine is the people of Ukraine allowing people to profit off of graft during a time of war.
Yuri, just real quickly, do you think that, are you optimistic that there could potentially be a deal on the table come next week, or come this week, I should say, when the U.S. does meet with Russia?
I really hope so, but I'm very skeptical about it.
Very skeptical.
Because of the Russian, there's nothing in what Russia does on a daily basis that indicates that they want peace.
Yeah.
So it's really hard for me to believe that there will be some meaningful because of the Russians. But again, the White House can use their cards, can play their cards to force Russia to the negotiating table.
We shall see. Thank you both for being here. We do appreciate you both coming on and providing your insight.